Grow Great is a city government leadership podcast with Lisa Norris and me, Randy Cantrell. Each week we share insights, experiences, and wisdom to help you and your leadership grow great. Our website is growgreat.com.
Randy, I'm sure you faced this before. I was having a pretty rough week, just challenges, work, nothing horrible. Just, you're kind of tired. I've got personal stuff going on. There was stuff with my mom going on that I was dealing with, challenges at work, challenges with my health, and just tired. I was just tired. And as I'm, talking about that and talking to Dawn and just, you get in your head, you're just like, man, this is just rough. Why can't I have a good day? I just need a good day. One day, right? In this mix. And then a good friend of ours, I can't remember if it was a text or a phone call, and one of their family members is diagnosed with cancer, like very bad cancer, out of the blue, been dealing with health issues for a year. And they're like, yeah, too weak to do chemo, and refused radiology. And they're just trying to figure out now what, because you know what that means. And I'm thinking immediately, my day is nothing like their day. My day they would dream for a week like I'm having in that moment, and just pray, man, I wish I was Lisa right now. Because my week looks glorious to them, because they are in a position none of us want to be in, right? And you had loaded a great quote that hit home that says, your normal day is someone's dream, so be thankful every day. And it brings it home, because what each of us is facing is our own reality in that moment, obviously. But man, you don't know what is going off in somebody else's world. So be grateful for what you have right now. It might be a hard day, but somebody else's day is terrible. Somebody else is having something really rough that you can't even dream about or want to have to experience yourself. And it changes perspective, because in that moment, I'm like, I really need to stop complaining, because others need my support much more than I need from myself. Like, I need to refocus and quit looking at me saying, oh, poor Lisa's having a horrible week, because now I've got a friend in crisis and my issue is nothing. And I had I don't know if you've heard that song, Ships That Don't Come In. Mm-mm. If you haven't heard it, it's an amazing song. And I was listening to it on the way up to the land and way back. I just kept it on replay. And it just talks about, one of the lines in that, if people are listening, but one of the lines in that is, just, kind of be thankful with everything going on. God's made this God's made this a game, and you're still in it. So be thankful, because there's a lot that aren't. There's many that aren't in the game anymore. There's many that their ships don't come in. They're waiting on the shore and the ship never comes in. And it just talks about these powerful moments that you think it's bad, but there's others, man, that are struggling. So be thankful for what's in front of you. And that circumstance happened recently, and it just kind of hits home. I'm sure you've had this before, but those moments make you realize you have no idea what's going on in everybody's life in that day. And certainly the moments are impacting me. But get out of your mind, because somebody else's day is really bad, and so be thankful.
That's the challenge. I think that's the challenge.
Thankful for what's in front of us.
Yeah, getting out of your mind, getting out of yourself.
Yeah,
is the deal. For the last decade plus, I've facilitated a number of groups. Think of these as kind of peer groups, and currently have 3 that are involved in city government, and mostly HR directors, but not all, including Lisa, as a managing director and part of CMO. But in all of the groups, whether it's a group of business owners, whether it's a group of CEOs or anybody else, as you kind of go around the room and you just do this check-in, And if people are willing to be vulnerable, and once a group has been together for a period of time, they're ridiculously open and vulnerable with one another, that's when the real power hits. You know, and most of us, we go around and, I've got my problems. And so, okay, yeah, here's what I'm going through. And then every once in a while, not always, but somebody divulges something that's way outside the norm.
Yeah. Very hard.
A family member who was murdered, a divorce that hasn't been brewing, but a sudden discovery of an unfaithful spouse, or something that just kind of rocks the whole room.
Yes.
And everybody immediately, that quickly, they stop thinking about themselves, and now all they're thinking about is this poor person, what they're going through.
Yes.
And it's kind of fascinating how gratitude happens that quickly. The minute we hear some horrible story of some circumstance that's way worse than ours, and immediately we're thankful for our problems. I mean, if I had a nickel for every time I've told people, no, thank you very much, I'll keep my problems, I'm very grateful to have my problems, I probably say it every day.
Yeah.
To Rhonda, I guarantee I say it every day. I'm thankful to have the problems I've got, and I'm sincere about it.
It doesn't mean that life doesn't still hit us, right? We still are in our moment, and things are going to be hard. But boy, reality is quick of grounding you, going, but what about that person? And it just makes you realize, I need to remember to check. It just made me quickly go. In fact, there was something that happened this week, and like you said, a friend divulged something critical in their family that I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot imagine how hard that is. You just immediately, like you said, the gear goes off in my head, and I am totally focused on, how can I help you? How can I support?
Yeah, you're not thinking about yourself anymore.
No, not at all. And for me, it was a very good reminder. And I called that friend of mine that has a family member. I reached out to him on the car ride home. How can I support you? And they're like, you know what? I don't even know what to do right now. Here's what we're going through. And I said, well, I'm not going to impose, because they've got a lot going on in their life. They've got some really happy stuff and some really very sad stuff going on simultaneously. They got a marriage upcoming for one of their children, and then have a family member that's not got a lot of hope left for what's in front of them and for how long. And that's going on in the same month.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I'm like, what can I do? And she said, there's nothing you can do right now. And I said, well, I'm available to be silent and by your side. I'm available to drop off a meal. I'm available for you to cry on my shoulder quietly. I will say nothing. I can take you somewhere, just tell me what you need. And she said, I don't even know what I need right now. And I said, well, just know that I'm here. That's all. You don't know what to say in the moment. I don't know what
that's right.
I can't comfort them. They just have to know I'm available to them. But it does it grounds you and lets you realize, man, life is hard, and my issues are not issues at all, really. And that song, that Ships That Don't Come In, that's all it talks about. It's a really, for those listeners that haven't heard it, really great song. I just have it on my Apple iTunes, but it would be worth a listen, because it brings it in perspective pretty quickly.
Well, and I don't think it always has to be in comparison to other people. You can think back to your own life. Most all of us can.
Yeah.
And there was a time that we were aspiring to probably have the position that we currently have, to be where we currently are, even personally. And then now that we're here, discontentment can set in, and
sure,
we can get wrapped around the axle about all of our own problems. But if you went back a few years, you're like, I was so wanting this,
yeah,
and I've got it. But, come on, gratitude's hard. It's really hard. because again, we can easily fixate on the things that we lack, the things that somebody else has that we don't, the good things. And yeah, I think the quote's perfectly right. You know, your normal day is somebody else's dream, so be thankful every day.
Yeah. It's just you're right. It's just being grateful, appreciating what you have, and not worrying about what you don't.
Thanks for watching and listening to Grow Great, the City Government Leadership Podcast. Our website is growgreat.com. For Lisa Norris, I'm Randy Cantrell. We hope you'll subscribe to the show, and we hope you'll tell a friend.